This is a piece of work that we did with PZ Cussons and Morrisons, where they were talking about PZ Cussons, a manufacturer of soaps and so forth, and they had a very kind of surface relationship with Morrisons, and they wanted to kind of get in there and have a better relationship. So what we decided to do was get together. Each of them brought an issue, and they co-created on each other's issue. So they were solving things together as a team rather than just one person presenting to another. This is how we look at holistic innovation management, and it's a useful slide if you're getting into the consulting area and you're talking to clients about innovation is everywhere. So innovation is in and around people stuff. So the training of people, the hiring of people, the induction of people, buddying, you know, how do you do that? Innovation is in and around process management. So there is a management element of it. There is kind of the strategic planning. And innovation is in the whole strategy, like how does your company set up budgets? And we had one client who's, we were doing the analysis of why innovation was stuck. And it was a big confectionery manufacturer. And they had run out of budget. Why? Because the innovation budget came directly out of the marketing budget. And it was the last quarter, so it was Christmas. So the confectionery manufacturer, of course, is using all of their marketing budget for marketing, and they were not able to innovate for the following year. So that's completely nuts. So you need to look at the sort of budgeting within strategy. Are the companies you're working with dealing with that appropriate? So there's a lot of stuff. There's a great piece that we've got from an Australian magazine from some psychologists who work in this area who are talking about brainstorming is bollocks, which is great because just kind of and there's lots and lots of psychological reasons why brainstorming is very limited. Not least of which that if the powerful person comes into the room, it can sort of change the dynamics. But also people who are a bit gobby can talk over, or people who are really good but quiet thinkers can disengage and just go, I just can't be bothered, So that kind of thing. And if the facilitator isn't fair and doesn't see everybody, it sometimes just doesn't. There's too many ways it can go wrong. So the ideal is that you don't have a hammer for doing all the jobs in your house, because if you did, you'd break stuff, right? So what you need for innovation is you need a bunch of different things. So some things work better for teams, some things work better on your own, some things work better for products, some things work better for service, So you need to have a look at a load, and the more you can learn, the more you can share. And the way to learn them is to share them. You know what I mean? Like, you become a good learner when you're a teacher. So if you have to teach something, you have to learn it. So these tools are something that you can get to grips with. We were just talking about when you're learning to do this stuff, if you volunteer your services to like the WI or some local charity to run a session for them free, but just because you want to explore these and experiment and do it, I think it's a good idea. So some of the ideas that we've got and tools that we've got are written on those documents that you have, but some of our favourites include random words, Jugaad, which I'll explain, positive, negative mood boards, visualisation, crazy pairs, nudge. All of these things have got depth beneath them, with slide decks and explanation on how to do it. But none of them are any good unless you've got that psychology right. So back to that kind of positive psychology stuff and getting everybody smiling. Because if you turn the corners of your mouth in an upward direction, the contraction of these muscles actually releases endorphins into your body, makes you feel good. So you just need to teach people to do that more. But I'm telling you it in that way because I don't want you just to be the sort of consultant that would say to people, smile. I want you to explain to people why smiling works and understand the body chemistry and how it links to brains and muscles and all of that, to be fascinated by all of that. And part of the signs and signals is Mark and I do a lot of public speaking, but we practice what we preach. So we bring rubber chickens around with us, principally because they make us smile. and we hand them round the audience, and that makes the audience smile. But when we went to Iran, we had to check that it wasn't offensive to anybody's religious sensitivities. It wasn't against Sharia law to hand out a rubber chicken to people. And apparently not. It's an international symbol of silliness. So that's quite good. So that kind of goes with us. And again, I just...
Squirrel.
Hmm?
There's a squirrel under the tree outside.
There's a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Right, I'll come back to that. Right, so, yeah, client quotes. Talking about holistic, we talk about different foods that are good. So we do actually hand out chocolate. And as we say, it's like, well, even if this workshop goes horribly wrong, at least we've all had chocolate and we've had a good time. Put that on your feedback form. We talk about the concepts of mood hoovers. And mood hoovers are people that suck all the good vibe out of the air. So, you can be having a really good meeting and somebody comes, oh. They suck air through their teeth. And they, oh, I don't know. And, minus. So there's a time and a place to be critical and to have that, but it isn't in the blue sky stuff. So what sort of thinker are you? Right. So you have to know what type of thinker are you, and then be able to talk about that with your clients. And generally thinking styles falls into these 4 main types. And it's very useful to get people just at the beginning of a session, or in coaching or one-to-ones, to talk about, you're a visual thinker. Because visual thinkers, you can hear that they are, because they say, I see what you mean. Or can you just show me that? Or if you show them a diagram, they get all like, oh, thank goodness, So it's very important to sort of understand that stuff, and a lot of it's grounded in NLP. So I don't recommend that you read NLP stuff. I recommend that you do a course, because it's not stuff you can read easily. It's more about do it. And some people find it hard, really hard. Interestingly, people from the army or maybe even the police, because if you've been taught to do something in a certain way, then that is the way, and that is the truth. When Mark and I were working with Pitney Bowes, we had this big thing, it's like, but if we do creativity, it'll break the Six Sigma, it'll break it'll ruin things. So we need to leave it all because it's all organised and everything. But if we throw it around, it will break it. So they thought that creativity was the sort of enemy almost of the processes and systems, instead of embracing it. So it's kind of important. And there's one thing that I love about creative thinking, and it's you will fail, and so will your clients. And the key to it is that that's hilarious. We have to have that humanity of going right, so let's fail again. Great, so let's do it again. And that culture of failure is really pretty critical.